High defense, anchored by N. Jason Calfusi, has allowed just 63 points all season. Undefeated East cruises into the title game for the second straight year. It's the Thunderbirds and the Leopards for the Utah State Class 4A Football Championship.
And good morning, everyone. We welcome you to Wildcat Stadium for the first of our two high school championship broadcasts today. In the 4A, it'll be East taking on Timpview. Dave Fox along with David James and Reese Stein down on the field. And East, they were here last year, but, you know, their eyes might have been wide back there. They're here to win this time.
Well, they were a Cinderella team last year. They'd had the long losing streak earlier in the 90s, and they were very happy to be in the championship game. This time, they're undefeated. They're very close to a perfect season, and they're not happy just to be here.
I'll tell you who's thrilled to be here. Reese Stein, because he loves it when it's cold and it's wet and he's outside. And Reese, you're right in the middle of it. Hey, Timpview, they've played some big games this year. They've had to move up to 5A to play a couple of games.
Their only loss came against 5A finalist Skyline. They actually beat the other 5A finalist, Orem. Last week they lose their quarterback on the third play of the game and still beat West. This is an outstanding Timpview game. I guess the big question today, which team will be able to handle this muddy turf? It's been raining all day. It's a mess down here, Dave.
Reese, keep the boots on and bundle up. We've got the state 4A championship coming your way. It's East against Timpview coming up next.
This high school football championship game is brought to you by Eagle Hardware, Granite Furniture, Icon Health and Fitness, and the Dairy Farmers of Utah.
Your palms sweat, your heart pounds, your pulse is racing. Is this how you feel when you're behind the wheel?
This is really annoying.
2 News put heart monitors on Wasatch Front commuters to see how stressed they get. Don't miss the drive time stress test Sunday on 2 News at 10.
This home improvement tip brought to you by Economy Builder Supply. I'm Larry. And I'm Brad. You know, there are a lot of people who do their own painting. So today we're going to show you the proper way to prime and paint your new walls with Pratt & Lambert Suprime 4 and Accolade paint.
Well, what do we do first?
First, you need the proper tools.
A roller pan, paint roller, and a paintbrush. Let's start priming.
The first step is brush the inside corners and along the edge of the molding.
Then roll the primer in an even up and down direction.
Remember to overlap each roll pass, then let dry for about 2 hours.
Well, now we're ready to paint. What's next?
Well, Larry, we do the same process. Brush the inside corners.
And roll Pratt & Lambert Accolade paint in the same direction as before. Remember to overlap.
By the way, it's 100% acrylic, the most durable paint available.
And the cleanup is easy. Just use soap and water. I'm Larry.
And I'm Brad. Watch for our next home improvement tip.
This home improvement tip brought to you by Pratt & Lambert Paints and Economy Builder Supply. We cut prices, not quality.
Dear Dave, after session last week, we had your smoky bacon cheeseburgers. One bite and we said, man, whoever made this has paid his dues. 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, smoked cheddar with that sauce, all on a quarter pound of fresh beef with sauteed onions. Dave, it was so delicious, Lucille and I played a whole set of low-down blues. Your pal, B.B. King.
Dear B.B., keep smiling. You'll beat those blues yet.
Try Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger Combo.
Ron Bird, Mary Nichols, Sterling Paulson. The team to watch on 2 News this morning, 5:30 to 9, weekdays.
And welcome back to our early morning broadcast here at Wildcat Stadium as 2 football championships will be decided today. You'll see the 5A at 5 on Channel 2 and the 4A right now between East and Timpview. Now, East won the toss and then deferred, so they will be kicking away, and they'll take the football to start the second half. And this field is mushy, and Reese Stein is somehow braving his way through it. I know he's got really deep boots on.
We're worried about ducks landing on the field. It's so wet down here. I already played one game on this field, and it's already churned up. The rain has stopped. It's been on and off for the last hour, but it's slick.
This kickoff brought to you by Granite Furniture. And Jeremy Pankey, number 20, is set to go, and we will be underway in the state 4A football title game. East High School got here last year, and this year they are perfect at 12-0. East High players trying to get that crowd riled up.
That'll be difficult.
Yeah. Point a camera at him. We're underway. The ball is dropped. You'll see a little bit of that on a football field that's as wet and muddy as this one, and there will be no return for Timpview, but they hang on to the football. They will begin right around the 20-yard line. Josh Payne was the young man there to receive the kick. And Reese, quarterback situation last week, they had to go to Josh Covey.
Well, you see Lane Gardner, number 5, going out on the third play of the game. Gardner against West in the semifinals rolled out to his left. Now he's right-handed. Did something you don't really want to do. He reaches back with that right hand, tried to get the pass off, and he took a shot that landed him in the hospital. But he's practiced all week, and he's back in the starting role as the Timpview quarterback today.
Well, they'll begin 1st and 10 with Gardner at quarterback, and Timpview, a team that likes to throw the football, and that's what they'll do right out of the gate, and the pass is complete. Oh, a big hit. Jerem Dastrup caught the ball. He's number 18, but Richard Dunn laid him out. Let's set up the offense for you right now. First of all, at Timpview, there's the line of Mahoney, the tight end, number 95. Some good size across that line. And Gardner, the quarterback. Covey will play if they need him to. And Shumway Dastrup, you just saw, had the reception there. Fafita in the backfield is a big one. 8 yards on that pickup. So Timpview will come out now with a 2nd down and 2. Boyd Badger is the lone back. 2 tight ends in for Lane Gardner, at quarterback for Timpview. And there's the pass to Badger out of the backfield, but that is picked up by that East defense. Dunn is there along with Jason Barlow, and boy, you can't say enough about this East defense. They have only they're giving up 5 points a game average. That is incredible. 6 shutouts. They have just played great football this year.
Well, they've got a big, powerful defensive line that can stuff the run, get a good pass rush, and if you try to just throw the quick pass outside, look at the team's speed. There were 3 guys over there ready to make the hit. East put together 4 shutouts in the regular season. They've had 2 more in the playoffs in their opening game against Logan and in the semis against Box Elder.
3rd down, they need 1. Gardner to the air. Pass just beyond the fingertips of Brandon Jones. And 3rd down and 1 with big Tom Fafita in your backfield.
Yeah, Tom Fafita threw the block on Jason Calfusi, the guy you want to watch for East on the left defensive end, number 49, their sack leader this year. One of the Calfusi brothers, whose older brothers played for both BYU and Utah. One of them's a coach at Utah now. Calfusi going to be a big influence here. And Fafita, huge in the backfield as a blocker, taking on Calfusi one-on-one.
It's Ethan Ross, and it looks like a fake. No, looked like a fake, but he was just trying to get out of trouble. And then he gets off a nice little kick all the way down to the 20-yard line, but the rush was coming on, and he had to get out of trouble.
Well, the most impressive thing about that whole play was a catch he made on that high snap. He went way up to get that, and you know, the ball is wet, it is heavy, and he makes a fingertip grab. Watch him get up for the high snap. Even the long snapper's got the adrenaline rush going. We're early into state final. You got to expect that. He runs around the rush, gets room, and then just gets off the punt. Of course, the return man had also come up, thinking he was going to have to make a play on the run.
51 yards on that kick.
He stays out there and plays free safety as well.
John Hatch is the quarterback for East, and they'll go with that ground game. And Aitken picks up about 3 yards. It's James Aitken, 6'1", 185-pound senior, 799 yards coming into this game.
They call him Stokes Aiken, and he's one of the guys that's really sucked it up this year and fueled that ground game for the East High Leopards.
He leads them in touchdowns. He scored 11. He's run for almost 800 yards, but the impressive thing, 7.1 yards a carry.
Hatch, look at him slip around. He tried to make that cut, and in a really slippery part of the field, but keeps the football and ends up picking up about 3 yards. They're going to have a 3rd down and 3.
East High actually lost one of their top running backs from last year. Peter Johnson has an injury, and it ended his football career. He was a big influence on that team last year. They were looking forward to his senior year. He hasn't been able to play, and the rest of the East High backs have sucked it up for him.
Timpview coaches are saying they're running left, and that's the case. And Havili is wrapped up by Aaron Ross, and he should be just shy of the first down, and that is the case. East is going to have to punt the ball away. And they're in a very muddy part of that football field. Well, they don't necessarily have to punt the ball away. They can also go for it, but they need 4 yards, and they're not going to go for it. John Hatch, just like Skyline's quarterback, Jason Anderson, who you will see, punts and plays quarterback. Like most of this East football team plays both sides of the football. And Hatch doesn't get much of a kick or a friendly bounce. Down to the 46-yard line is where Timpview will take over. When we come back, we're just underway with a 4A football championship game.
Right here.
The mystery of the blinking rings. And now, my finest illusion. Voila! Empty! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, no, please don't get up. You're too kind. Thank you.
Just yours.
It's not necessary for you to...
Got milk.
Ow!
Hungry children in Utah need your help.
This season, team up with us
to help feed Utah families.
in a true spirit of giving.
Bring your canned goods to Channel 2, Granite Furniture, or the Utah Food Bank. Volunteers will take your donations where they're needed most.
When we all give a little,
we'll make a big difference. Together,
we'll be bagging hunger for the holidays.
Sponsored by Granite Furniture, Utah's favorite home team since 1910.
Hey, deliver these, will ya?
Now that cold weather set in, come into Intermountain Farmers for warmer work clothing. Because if your job keeps you outside during the winter months, you know how cold it can get. Dressing properly can be critical. So whether your outdoor activities are for work or for fun, come see our stylish new jackets and workable insulated coveralls. Designed to be convenient and easy to put on as well as comfortable to work in. IFA has the cold weather apparel you need at a price you can afford.
We're still serving your needs at home and on the farm. We're IFA.
Welcome back to Ogden. No score here. 8:57 to play in the first quarter of the 4A football championship. The Thunderbirds of Timpview taking on the East High Leopards. And Lane Gardner at quarterback did get injured last week in the semifinal game. Covey came in and mopped up for. That's Fafita. Tom Fafita takes the left side and gets a couple, but you just see how quickly that East defense will converge. Jason Kafusi's there. James Aitken is there. Tim Barris is there.
You're going to see Timpview run the ball here a little bit, but they throw the ball a lot more than most teams. They've run for about 2,500 yards, thrown for almost 2,000, so they can mix it up. We see a lot of teams at the high school level that really are predominantly running teams. Timpview can do both, and with that passing attack, it makes the run a little more effective.
Second down, they need 6 here. Fafita takes the right side, and Kafusi is there to wrap him up. And they're going to be a couple of yards shy.
That shows the big problem when you play the East defense. They're so big, they're difficult to run at, but you try and run a quick toss, get outside, run around them. They're so fast. I mean, there's every play, there's 3, 4, 5 guys out there on pursuit. What the East coaching staff is worried about is not long drives necessarily, because they think it'll be tough for Timpview to put them together, but the big play, because Timpview does have the team speed to break off a big play. If there's a missed assignment, a missed tackle, we could see Timpview really cashing in a hurry.
Well, Coach Georgilas has really turned this program around in a hurry in the 4 years that he has been at East High School. And their defense has just been sensational this year. Right now, the Thunderbirds need 2 yards. Gardner to throw. Wide open receiver, and that's enough for a first down. Tim Barris makes the hit on Ryan Mahoney. It's interesting because, like you said, not many high school teams pass, and very few high school teams pass on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2.
Now here they go, though, the little sprint out, which gives the quarterback an option of run or pass, and then when you're worried about both of them, they throw all the way back across the field, really spreading the field out. And they're going to have to do something like that and keep East off balance, because if East knows what's coming, they got good enough athletes to stuff it. You've got to keep them off balance.
Fafita takes the left side and gets a few.
I think one of the interesting things about Timpview is, and I think the East High coaches know, especially as the season went along, you know, they were winning some games very early on. I mean, sometimes when they were warming up on the first series, they were intimidating people. And the defense was just so awesome. They didn't give up more than 13 points in any game all year long. But Timpview went out of their way to schedule up. They were one of the few 4A teams that went and played not just one 5A power in Orem, they played two. They went up and played Skyline at Skyline in the middle of the year.
They played both the teams that you'll see today in our 5A final and beat one of them, which is huge for a 4A team to go up and beat them. Badger takes the right side. And again, that East defense is there in a hurry, but he manages to pick up about 4 yards.
Well, Timpview may get beat, but I don't think they'll get intimidated out of this game, because the thing about 5A schools, with the bigger student bodies, they have so many more athletes on the team. Later in the 5A game, you'll see a few players, especially once we're in the championship game, going both ways. These teams have many more players playing both sides of the ball. But Timpview, they will go hard. They will go at them. They may not be the better team, but it won't be for lack of hustle. And if they can make some big plays, which with their passing game they have the ability to do, they could do it. They were a huge underdog in 91 when they stunned Skyline in overtime.
Another third down here, 3rd and 3. And again, they go there. That pass is high. And well over the hands of Ethan Ross.
Yeah, that looked like it just slipped out of his fingertips. Lane's not happy with that, wiping his hands off. He knew that one got away from him. You know, we saw Timpview against West last week, and it's a whole different team with Gardner in there than it was with Covey last week. They just have an entirely different look. Not only is there a different quarterback, but last week West did a great job stopping Big Fafita. They were going to Troy Badger, little number 7, and you'll see that combination today. We've seen Badger already. It's been mostly Fafita. Last week it was mostly Badger.
Well, right here, they need 3 yards, and they've got Fafita in the backfield. Gardner will throw. He's got an open man. It's complete. And good yardage picked up there by Lance Reynolds. He's just a sophomore. How often do you see sophomores contributing in a major high school football program? Certainly in the championship game, but he's really panned out for this team.
Well, one of the things Timpview's doing is we've seen a couple of these now. They're sprinting out, trying to get away from that East High pass rush, get the quarterback outside where he can see. He's got 2 or 3 receivers. If you flood that side of the field, and it's working well. He's doing a nice job throwing on the run as they run him away from some of the pass rush.
Timpview putting together a nice drive here. And Lane Gardner at quarterback leading the way.
Badger.
Pitches back to Badger. Tries to cut back and find something, but he runs right into the hands of Jason Barlow.
You talk about a contrast. Badger weighs about as much as one of Fafita's legs. And when they pass each other on the field, it's spooky. Fafita is just huge. Badger is tiny, but he's very elusive, as West found out last week.
Well, as we look at the replay of this one more time, isn't the way they handled the quarterback problem last week, Reese, indicative of how you can't intimidate them? They're just too poised. The starting quarterback goes out, no problem. They just kept rolling.
Oh, yeah, they bring in a quarterback with basically no meaningful varsity experience, and he leads them to victory playing the last 3.5 quarters. Amazing.
Fafita, and he is met immediately by Jason Kafusi and dropped for a loss.
They got to be impressed. They're going right at Kafusi with him, and Kafusi answers.
You see fresh footballs coming in on just about every play as they desperately try to keep the footballs dry. It's not raining right now, but it has been, and the field is a mess.
Well, I think Timpview is lucky that it is not as wet and as cold as it was earlier in the day, though, because of all the 4A and 5A finalists, Timpview needs an effective passing game more than anybody else. And even to the degree the field's already chewed up in bad condition, it is going to work against Timpview. Although the muddy field could help their receivers run routes because the other guys aren't going to know when and where they're cutting.
3rd and 12.
Great pass.
Pass was actually a little behind Jerome Dastrup. If he had been able to lead Dastrup, that might have been 6. Tim Barris is there on coverage and was able to get the hand. Look at Barris's uniform. He's a mess.
Dastrup is the leading receiver on the team. Scored 5 touchdowns receiving, has more than 500 yards, and that one's just a little behind him at the 5-yard line. But 509 yards receiving for a high school receiver, that's a lot of yardage in just 12 games.
4th and 12. And they're going to go for it. It's championship football. Get all the points you can. Lane Gardner looking to throw. dumps it off over the middle. They can say it's not caught. Wouldn't have been enough anyway. Ryan Mahoney, the intended target. Gardner was fortunate he was able to release that football before several East High Leopards were all over it. So there's your turnover. And East High will have the football in a scoreless 4A championship game when we come back.
Art and AJ, you came down here to Eagle Hardware for a single nail.
There it is. Show
Let me
it to
see
them,
it, AJ. Boy.
Sometimes you can only buy things in bulk and you don't need it in bulk. It's kind of why we like it here. This is a big kid's candy store, kind of, is how I look at it. The wife goes shopping and we roam Eagle. It's kind of a ritual now.
Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything.
Irwin makes the tools you need, like the 6-piece Speedbore 2000 drill bit set, the 7 1/4-inch carbide saw blade, and much more. Irwin at Eagle.
Imagine something new to get excited about. The 1997 Mercury Mountaineer. Easy to get used to in more ways than one. Wherever you look, you're going to love the Mountaineer. The sport utility you can step right into. It's got loads of safety features, and with all-wheel drive, this hassle-free system is engaged whenever you drive. Maybe it is time to imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Utah High School Activities Association. The game of life begins here.
Thomas Travel is a proud supporter of Utah high schools. Serving Utah for over 46 years, Thomas Travel specializes in tours and cruises for the business and leisure traveler.
Well, East High's defense, that vaunted defense, held on 4th down. They've had 6 shutouts this year so far, and they've given the offense the football, and here they come. Sione Havili takes the left side and picks up good yardage.
Another one of those East High running backs that has stepped it up with the absence of Peter Johnson.
Let's set your East High offense. There's your offensive line. And they got a couple of big ones on each end. Tutu's 265 pounds. John Hatch, the quarterback. Jason Kafusi playing both sides of the football. Will play some tight end as well as linebacker, defensive end, and whatever they need him to do. There's a flag that flies into the middle as Sione Havili gets the first down, but let's wait and see what the situation is with the penalty.
The face mask.
Let's set your Timpview defense. There's number 57. And then your linebackers, they play the 4 linebackers and 2 safeties. 2 defensive backs and the safeties. The Ross brothers there playing on defense. First down and 10. As the penalty will give East a little bit more. Chris Georgilis, 4 years at East, 0-8 his first year. I remember doing stories on how they struggled then. Then he goes 1-7, then 9-4, now 12-0. He's really built up a program. Aitken tries the left side. And Dave Lange is there for the stop. Second down and 7 after that carry for James Aitken. And East High on the prowl. John Hatch is the quarterback. This field is something else, but Sione Havili turns it into a big gainer there as he's able to slosh through the mud all the way down close to the 40-yard line of the Thunderbirds before Ethan Ross puts the hit on him.
Man, he saw that alley coming around the corner, cut right up into it. Perfect. Had a huge hole. The offensive line, look at this hole. He sees it right there, turns right up into it. This is why he's averaging more than 9 yards a carry. Even when he gets tripped up, falling forward, picking up those couple extra yards, all his momentum moving towards the goal line. And now he's limping off.
Yeah. They're helping him off the field there. You see 753 yards coming into this game. We'll keep an eye on that and find out what the situation with him is. And they'll go right back, though, to James Aitken. They got several fine running backs in this program, and Aitken picks up the first down. Skidmore with a nice block to help spring him. That's Thomas Skidmore, number 11. And Aitken's dirty. Look at his uniform. They're still digging mud out of it.
Well, one guy with 700 yards rushing goes to the sideline. Another one rolls right in. This East High offense has put up some tremendous numbers. They're averaging 33 points a game. They put 59 points on the board against Granite, 56 against Woods Cross, 41 against Ben Lomond, 55 against Tooele, 42 against Logan. They can rack it up.
Back to the ground again with Aitken. So East is engineering a fine drive. Timpview did on their last possession, but it stalled down in the red zone. We'll see if East is able to convert theirs into some points. They get down to the 25-yard line now.
Aitken averaging a little more than 5 yards a carry. That's low for him. He usually runs about 7 yards a pop.
2nd down and 8. Another big gainer, this time Jared Carson. And David, they just keep shuttling in running back after running back.
Well, when you got the holes to run through, they do. Everybody's going to look good. You got to credit the offensive line. There were not many orange jerseys on the right side, and the ones that were mostly out on the ground. Look for guys in the orange jerseys still on their feet. Seen anybody yet? Most guys are down on the ground if they're over in the play at all.
That'll bring up a 1st and 10 now as East gets inside the red zone. They're at the 15-yard line. James Aitken is in the backfield. John Hatch is your quarterback. And they'll reverse it with Richard Dunn cutting back inside, and Dunn in for the touchdown.
Inside handoff in the reverse, and look at the hole he's got to run through. And 2 defensive backs get to him at about the 3-yard line. That's it. Tremendous blocking up front by East.
Too late by the time they got there. Jeremy Pankey, 43 of 49 point afters this year, and he gets another one. So East strikes first. The Leopards have a 7-0 lead. Minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. And a very fine drive. Now, Timpview also showed that they're going to be able to move the ball on offense as well, but their drive stalled with that 4th down play down at about the 15-yard line.
Yeah, what a methodical drive, just grinding it out on the ground, running a series of running backs in there to keep the drive going. Some bad news over here on the sidelines for East, though. Sione Havili is on his back on the bench. They're working on his knee. No prognosis yet, but I'll tell you what, he's in a lot of pain. It's his left knee, and now his teammates rallying around him to see exactly what's wrong. But Sione Havili, who is an instrumental cog in this East High offense, is on his back on the sidelines right now, and he's in pain.
We'll keep an eye on Havili, but as you pointed out, they do have several running backs that they'll shuttle in and out of this game, and we saw at least 4 different ball carriers on that last drive. Plus the quarterback.
And the key to the drive was the play of the offensive line. I mean, the blocking up front was great.
Got some size there, 250 pounds on one end, 265 on the other. This Granite kickoff from Jeremy Pankey. Fielded at the 12-yard line, and Timpview's going to come out at the 17, and they'll take over from there, trailing 7-0. Ethan Ross on the return. And now Lane Gardner back into the game. The passing game of the Thunderbirds. That last drive for East went 8 plays, 85 yards. 15-yard run to wrap it up. Here comes Lane Gardner. He's completed half of his passes so far.
Well, 4 of 8 for 35, not that unusual for him. He can air it out. He had several games over 250 yards passing this year.
They'll go to the ground. Troy Badger. Badger will fall forward for a couple of yards, but that is a tough defensive line to run on.
Both these teams come in with great records. East a perfect 12-0. They did have a 1-point win over Olympus and 2 points over Spanish Fork. Timpview 11-1. Great records. Dave, you mentioned earlier the turnaround East has made. They have just been unbelievable. Here's an 0-8, 1-7, and then 9-4 last year, the breakthrough year, now 12-0. This coaching staff, a head coach who went to Westminster, assistants from both BYU and Utah,
right.
A lot of former players.
Bellini's on that coaching staff.
Matt Bellini, former Cougar.
There's quite a few of them. Pass is complete to Badger. They got a first down. Oh, and a big hit at the 31-yard line. And that was Richard Dunn who laid out Badger, but look at him pop right back up and run into the huddle. You know, even if it's a little sore, you certainly don't want them to know that. And he jumps right up, trots back onto the field.
Badger averages 8.7 yards a carry. Huge numbers. And as a receiver out of the backfield, effective too. Catches usually a couple passes a game. He just tucks it away, gets upfield, takes the big hit. But combined yardage this year, he is closing in on 1,200 yards receiving and running. Great year.
He's listed at 160 pounds, and I think maybe with the mud on his uniform, he might make it.
49 seconds here in this first quarter. East High School leading 7-0. East High School has a lot of state championships, but it's been a while since they captured one. Lane Gardner, the quarterback for Timpview, pitches to Troy Badger. And Troy will get a couple. And East is not going to let Timpview do much running.
You mentioned it's been a while since East got a state title. They were in back-to-back games in 73 and 74. Lost the 73 game to West, came back, got revenge in the 74 title. And then they went back in the title game until the last year's contest with Box Elder when the Box Elder offense went wild.
Yeah, they did. Rice Stadium last year.
And Timpview's got that kind of offense here. They scored 31 points in the quarterfinals in a 31-13 win over Mountain Crest. Beat West 37 in the semis, 32-7 in the semis with their backup quarterback. They're averaging 33 points a game, and they've been able to do it in their last two playoff games.
Gardner sets up a screen to Badger, and closing quickly is that East defense. Jeff Neiswanger was there to wrap them up. And that's going to bring us to the end of the first quarter, where East enjoys a 7-0 lead, but Timpview has the ball. We'll be back.
Now that cold weather set in, come into Intermountain Farmers for warmer work clothing. Because if your job keeps you outside during the winter months, you know how cold it can get. Dressing properly can be critical. So whether your outdoor activities are for work or for fun, come see our stylish new jackets and workable insulated coveralls. Designed to be convenient and easy to put on as well as comfortable to work in. IFA has the cold weather apparel you need at a price you can afford.
We're still serving your needs at home and on the farm. We're IFA.
Hello, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you see a shot of Sione Havili on the sideline. They're trying to take care of him as he took a hit earlier. Hopefully he'll be okay. Right now, Timpview with the football, 3rd down and 6. Lane Gardner, your quarterback. Pass downfield is complete, and a nice catch, especially considering he was going right over the middle by Brandon Shumway. And that ball was fired in there.
It was, and that was a nice route, too. Knowing he was going to have to come back for the ball, he drove the defensive back about 8 yards past the first down marker. So when he comes back about 4 yards, he's still well beyond the marker, got the first down. So often you see those comeback routes end up a yard or two short because you didn't go far enough past the markers. You got to have room to come back to the quarterback.
Fafita doesn't get anything. And that ground game is just being stuffed by East.
Well, we mentioned that East has 6 shutouts this year, 4 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs. Only 4 schools have even managed 12 points on them. And the most points they gave up all year was 13 to Olympus in a 14-13 win in week 2. I mean, this East defense has put some amazing numbers on the board, or rather has not put some amazing numbers on the board.
Or taken some amazing numbers off the board. Whatever.
We'll diagram this all later.
Okay. 2nd down and 9. Gardner looking deep.
Yes.
Pass is caught. A nice reception by Ethan Ross, who had to stretch, but he made the catch.
Beautiful catch, just stretching out for it. First quarter, East had no yards passing, Timpview 52, and Timpview continues to throw the ball well. He had a lot of time to throw. Good protection against that pass rush. Stretched out, nice catch.
Can you imagine if a team like Skyline, with their fine quarterback Jason Anderson, had receivers like this? I mean, occasionally you'll see a couple of balls go off the fingertips of the Skyline receivers. There's Troy Badger.
I think the difference is, and the reason that some of the schools have gone with the option like Skyline and Orem, is that with no matter what kind of talent you can have, you can always run that offense. It requires discipline and good blocking. But when you start throwing the ball all over the field, you got to have a quarterback who can read defenses, a guy who has a good arm, a guy who's poised, and he's got to have good receivers and a good line in front of him. It's a little trickier, but when it works, it's fun to watch, and Timpview has been a lot of fun to watch this year.
Second down and 3. They've been a lot of fun to watch so far in this ball game. Whoops. Jerem Dastrup took off on that left side before the rest of the team did.
You know, it's not a dome here at Weber State, and yet I thought I heard an echo. But maybe that was just me.
It's not a dome?
No, it's not. 2 News has learned. The motion was outside the picture there. It was the
yeah, Reese, there is no ceiling on this stadium, is there?
It leaks if there is, I'll guarantee you that.
Well, they're going to take this one back a few yards after the motion penalty. There's Lane Gardner's numbers, 8 of 12 for 87 yards. That'll get it done. So that'll bring up a second down and 8. 3 wide receivers for Gardner to choose from here, and his tight end on the left side. Nope. Tom Fafita is met at the line.
Yeah, they got to run a little to keep him honest, but really, if Timpview's going to stay in this game, it's going to be up to Gardner to throw the ball, and he's had some great games. Threw for 250 yards against Skyline earlier this year, threw for 272 against Provo, 219 against Tooele. They've got to air the ball out, because look what happens when they try to run right at that East defense. The guys are coming off blocks and making hits. It's just a battle to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Amato Koto, number 65, made the big hit there. Third down, they need 7 now, and again, they stalled on the last drive, right about in this same area. Throwing for the end zone, and this is going to go over everybody's head. Jerome Dastrup, again, the intended target, Jerem Dastrup, I should say, and it's a 4th down. Now, they went for it on 4th down last time.
Now, this would be a 42-yard field goal on a bad, sloppy field. And what's more, they would have to kick it right out of one of the sloppiest sections.
Yep, it's a mess right there, right at that 35-yard line.
Might as well go for it. And they got the kind of offense where, you know, you can put guys out in a pattern and pick up 7 yards. The thing you like about this, if you're an East pass rusher, is you can try and anticipate the snap count. If you do jump off sides, it's 4th and 7. They still don't have the first down.
Gardner gets out of trouble, fires downfield, intended for Troy Badger right there. And that would have been a big catch and put him right near the goal line. But once again, the East High defense has held. Another turnover, and the Leopards offense will take the field.
Stepped away from the first pass rush, but when he throws, he knows he's going to take a pop, and he got hurt on a similar play last week. Still almost made the connection.
Seven 0 East.
So what's the project for today?
Building the deck.
And why'd you come to Eagle Hardware?
Well, they have every brand from the Milwaukee to Black & Decker to Makita.
Well, which one do you decide on?
Well, I just went with the Pinto of the hand saws here.
Yeah, but women, though, a guy with a circular saw has a lot more,
a lot more going on than just a guy with a drill. Yeah.
A guy with a drill. Yeah. Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything.
Makita makes power tools that work as hard as you, including this finishing sander with case and cordless drill kit. Makita at Eagle.
No dogs, no stoplights, no rain. Just getting fit, staying fit, losing the fat. Yeah. You can get there with this. Into running, walking, you will reach your goal. You cannot stop. This is why. Keeps you moving. Call it motivation. Want it higher, harder, steeper? You will get there. You won't pound your knees, your ankles, your joints. This tells you where you are, how far you'll go, and what you'll attain. So when you get there, it gets out of your way. Space Saver Thin Line from Proform. Hey, this isn't much. This is smart.
The new Proform Space Saver treadmill, more compact than ever. Call for a 30-day in-home trial.
East High offense back on the field after their defense is held for the second time on 4th down today. And Hatch, his first pass of the day, and it is complete to the 35-yard line. James Aitken makes the reception. It's becoming difficult to see some of the numbers down there because there's so much mud on them, and it looks like actually that's Kafusi.
Was
49.
Kafusi,
yes.
the tight end spot, yes.
It was Kafusi. Ethan Ross made the hit.
You know, it's not often your tight end is your big play guy, but Kafusi has the most catches on the year for East. He's got the most yardage. He's got the most touchdowns. He is the guy they love to throw to. 17 catches, 327 yards, almost 20 yards a catch, and he's got 5 touchdown receptions.
And then he goes over and does it all on defense. 2nd down and 1. They came up just shy, a little less than a yard shy of the first. And they've got it here and more. Jared Carson, the running back there. You see a little more of Jared while we wait on the Sione Havili situation. He was injured earlier.
Dave all alone over here on the East High bench. At the north end of the East High bench, Sione Havili is lamenting the fact that he may not get back into this game. He's still in a lot of pain with that knee. Kind of over there all alone with his principal, Kay Peterson.
Sideline reports brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Utah. Havili, a junior, though, so he will be back. There's a flag down, but good yardage on the left side by Jared Carson. But let's wait and see. There's a flag back at the 38-yard line. That is a flag, isn't it?
I think so. I thought it was the way it came flying out. The East guys are pointing that it might be against Timpview, but it is not. It's Klimp against East. That's why you can't let them call their own in a state championship game.
Oh, yeah.
You
call
get
your own foul.
That's right. That'll be trouble. See if we can see
My
the clip
bad.
out here. I'm not sure if we saw it or not there. Nice run, but
Nice
you see how
hop.
slick it is. You can see guys hydroplane. It's like the old slip and slide toy everybody uses in the summer when you're a little kid. I mean, there is a lot of water. Even on where you can see the mud in the middle of the field, but even on the sideline, guys start sliding. They are sending up sheets of water.
And they are walking back.
We always talk about how important. That is a good look at just how sloppy it is.
Guys, back up, please.
It has
Now
really gotten chewed
that's
up.
actually on the sideline, we should point out. The sideline is even worse because that's where everybody's been walking around. Right at about the 50-yard line on the Timpview sideline is just a mess. So it's a 1st down and 27 after that penalty. John Hatch is going to have to throw. That ball was tipped by a couple of people, and then it looked like it hit Kafusi's helmet. Might not have actually been tipped, but everybody had a hand up trying to get a piece of it.
And when that ball gets tipped floating down the middle, it's up for grabs, and it can be an interception. It's interesting, though, is as bad as the field conditions are today, nobody's losing the handle on the ball.
That's
and
right.
you would really expect that because, well, as Reese can tell us, Reese, there's a little bit of water still on the field from the storm earlier today.
Yeah, there is, but you know, it's not really that cold, and they're playing rather conservatively. They're not taking a lot of chances.
We are starting to get a little rain again. It had stopped for a while, but
2nd down and 27 now. Hatch again is going to need to throw it. He's going to throw it back.
Nice
Jared
move.
Carson, and Carson makes a couple of nice moves. There's a stiff arm. Still up and finally wrapped up. He's going to be about a yard shy of the 1st down, but hey, he picked up 26 yards on that play.
that was a great cut and a beautiful, Jamal Anderson, stiff arm. Watch it one more time. He comes out here, he cuts back inside. The defenders on this turf can't stop. And now get ready for the stiff arm. Good for him, gets the ball in the outside arm, and throws him down. Oh, Jamal Anderson would be proud. Jamal, the former Utes, got a tremendous stiff arm in the NFL now, and that was a beautiful one right there.
He had a run against Detroit. It was only about a 10-yard run, but you remember this run.
He slapped two guys to the ground in a row.
It was incredible.
Stiff arm's a great weapon, and that was a great example of it right there.
Yep. Aitken, and he's got the first down before Fafita, the Timpview running back, who also plays defensive end, is there to stop him. So it's a first down, and East still on the move.
Boy, they've overcome that clip. That was amazing.
Let's take a look on our Eagle Hardware and Garden power play. Enough for the first.
Nothing fancy. It's short yardage. Just get in behind that offensive line.
First down and 10. And again, they'll keep it on the ground. Richard Dunn. And he is close to another first down to the 40-yard line, about a yard shy.
And East High just keeps coming at you with running back after running back after running back. All of these guys have contributed all year long. They really stepped up when Peter Johnson went down. And now they've got to replace Sione Havili, and they're doing it.
Second down, they need 1 yard here. Hatch is going to get the uniform dirty. Pitches out, and it's fumbled. But fortunately for East, Fulau manages to fall right on it. Sitani Fulau. And it's a first down. And the rain is a-coming. How you doing down there, Reese?
Hey, couldn't be better, but you got to dress for it, that's for sure. But it is starting to rain again. The field in the middle of the field is really churned up. It's not muddy. It's absorbing the water. It's just really churned up. It's more muddy here on the sidelines. So the traction isn't all that bad out there. It isn't really slick. If it continues to rain like this, it'll get worse, though.
The sidelines are incredible to look at. It's deep mud there. They'll go right down the pipe once again with James Aitken. You know what I think would be great right now is if you, in your suit, went down, started at the 35 on the Timpview sideline on a dead run, dove at the 50.
You know, Dave, if it were just rain, I would, but it's begun to hail now, and that's why I'm going to draw the line.
I'll let that go then. What a that would make plays of the week. In fact, you know, if you run down right now, that'd make plays of the year. I can guarantee you.
Gosh, all my dreams come true in one moment.
Second down and 1 yard is what East needs. And it's going to be, I don't think they didn't get that. They were met at the line and backed up. Aitken is short. Ryan Pond, a name apropos for this field, in on the stop.
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to. I knew a name like Pond was going to be trouble today. You think he hasn't heard all these jokes before?
Hey, I got Ponds in my neighborhood.
There you go.
Third down, they need 1. 1 yard to keep the drive alive.
It's kind of 4-down territory here, though, also.
They'll make that. Well, that's enough for the first. Thunderbirds are all over it, but once again, James Aitken, he's getting a lot of work now.
Now you can imagine the adrenaline rush for these offensive linemen. East starting 4 seniors, guys who were on the field last year. Remember the nightmare against Box Elder when Box Elder really put it to East. And this is, I mean, you put them on a muddy track, give them 3rd and short, and say, guys, go get us a first down. These guys are fired up. They were lifting weights in the offseason, dreaming about getting back to this game. They're here now. And in every short yardage situation, East has been able to depend on that line.
Hatch is throwing. And that, you know, it's getting tough to tell which players are on which team because the East jerseys, in fact, his intended target was Kafusi. The jersey's so dark it almost looks like a Timpview play.
Orange and white is just turning into mud and mud down there. This was almost picked off, it looked like. I thought this was a bit of a risky throw. He threw into a little coverage here. You see right there, tipped by a Timpview defender. Looked like Ethan Ross in there had a hand on it and almost picked it off. And that is really what Timpview needs right now, because despite the fact East has rolled up a ton of yards, you know, it's still a 1-touchdown game. If you can get a turnover right here, you're in good shape.
Back to the ground game. Nothing doing for James Aitken. He is wrapped up.
They've used that inside handoff a couple of times now. Used it on the touchdown, but Fafita and Jones, they're seeing it now.
Brandon Jones, number 42. Utah's backup quarterback is Brandon Jones. Of course, the Utes have a big battle today against BYU, the rivalry at Rice Stadium, which will get underway at 10:30 this morning.
You know, outside of the BYU-Utah showdown and Michael Jordan and the Bulls being at the Dell Center play the Jazz, we don't really have a whole lot of
opener.
We don't have a lot of and the Utes, Azusa Pacific. We don't really have a lot of sports to put in the 10 o'clock sportscast tonight. So, you know, 2 News at 10. I really don't know what kind of highlights we can offer you.
No, and not big games either. You know, when Michael Jordan comes to town, just another basketball game. 12-0 as the Bulls try to go to 13-0 later on tonight. We'll
just
take a
like
break.
East.
And that's right. You are.
I do what I can.
We'll be back.
Hungry children in Utah need your help
This season, team up with us
to help feed Utah families.
in the true spirit of giving.
Bring your canned goods to Channel 2, Granite Furniture, or the Utah Food Bank. Volunteers will take your donations where they're needed most.
When we all give a little,
We'll make a big difference. Together,
we'll be bagging hungry for the holidays.
Sponsored by Granite Furniture, Utah's favorite home team since 1910.
hey, deliver these, will ya?
Hey, cookies. Say, you know, I think our neighbor might like one too.
Yeah, well.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Terrific. Excellent.
Got milk? Lincoln Continental, a V8 luxury sedan that has all the right stuff. Lincoln Mark 8, a 280 horsepower luxury coupe that takes no prisoners. And Lincoln Town Car, a luxury legend that is recognized as an American classic. Every one of these Lincolns can now be reached at the following number. Exclusively at your Lincoln dealer.
East High still on the move, leading 7-0. Their 12th play of the drive. Hatch back to throw, going to the corner. A fight for the ball, and no one comes up with it. As East High trying to get into the end zone once again. And some good defense played on Scott Hammer.
I thought actually Scott Hammer ended up playing the defense. The way the ball was thrown, he knew. But, you know, he lunged in there and he almost made the catch. Josh Payne back there had a pretty good read on it as well.
Well, that's going to bring up a 4th down, but now you got a 4th and 13.
I think Hatch led him a little bit too much on the throw, and you can see it. The last thing, he tries to step in front, get up there, and pull it away.
Very close.
Yep. A 4th and forever, but where you're at the 30-yard line, It's a 47-yard field goal. It's too close to punt.
Hatch has plenty of time, fires downfield. It is complete. Richard Dunn, and Dunn, a big play all the way down to the 3-yard line.
Fourth and 13, everything is going right for East. And, you know, maybe they figure, hey, they deserve it. Everything went wrong for them a year ago at this time, but 4th and 13, and you convert it for 1st and goal.
Good little piece of running by Dunn afterwards. And as you say, 1st down and goal from the 3-yard line. The Leopards looking to build on a 7-0 lead. They'll go to the ground. Peter Johnson this time.
No, Carson.
Carson, it is Carson. I'm sorry. There's so many numbers down there that are completely covered with mud.
It's a lot easier to see when you're right next to him, I'll tell you.
It's incredible.
Well, Carson, another one of their backs, though. I mean, how many guys do they have averaging 7 yards a carry? He's another one. And you can see why. Look how many hits he takes. Stays on his feet, keeps the leg moving. It's the 4th and 5th guy who hit him and finally bring him down.
They bring in a number 33 with a brand clean uniform. I mean, they just keep running people at you. Straight T formation, man. Whole time for.
Everyone's piled up. This could be a touchdown if we could get it.
No, they're not. They're going to mark him short. They're going to mark him short.
Oh, man, just barely, about half a yard short.
It's amazing when you can bring in another guy like Carson. They've got the injury to Havili. They're rotating backs. They got to go farther down the bench, but they have 6 guys averaging at least 7 yards a carry. I mean, it is amazing how deep they are.
3rd and goal. The ball just inside the 1-yard line. And now the officials are stopping.
Timpview's got a timeout.
Timpview wants, yep, they're going to take a timeout. 2 minutes to play, 2:08 to be exact in this first half. And East is trying to double up their score. They're leading 7-0 right now. East coaches making their way onto the field right now. In fact, Matt Bellini is the coach that's worked his way into the huddle now for East, the former BYU running back. Of course, his brother, BYU wide receiver. Matt actually coached with John Hayne at Woods Cross for a year before moving over to East last season.
Well, we did a story last year on the East coaching staff when they had 6, 3 former Utes, 3 former Cougars. Talked with Cap Sikahema, Vi's brother, played at the Y, and it was interesting. Some of the guys really, Al Dolan we talked with, Rich Kafusi, Rick Tucker, and a whole bunch of guys, and it was interesting. They kind of had a mix. Some of the kids said, yeah, you know, they do remember us and they do listen because they know, they remember us playing. And then some of the other coaches were saying, yeah, some of the guys maybe, but the other guys going, he's just another old guy. Yeah, he played back when they had no face mask. Whatever, coach.
Just another old guy.
That's right.
It's going to be close again. It's James Aitken. It's just a big scrum down there.
But you know, it's what we talked about earlier with Timpview. They went up against some of the biggest 5A teams in the state. Orem, Skyline. They're not going to be intimidated. They're down by a touchdown. They don't want to fall down by 2 scores against a good team on a bad field, which could make it a little tough for them to run their offense. It's 3rd and goal and 1. It's a tough situation, but they just get in there and boom, they go at it. And other teams this year haven't come at East the same way. Haven't come at them with the same confidence and poise.
4th down. They need 1 yard. They've taken 3 right up the middle. None of them have worked. Hatch. Got it.
Nothing fancy there. Just counting on the left side of that line to just send in a crushing blow. Look at the kids with East. It's amazing. You walk through the stands before the game and the kids say, if I take off my shirt, can I get on TV? Yeah, pretty much. The running backs are all lead blockers. The left side of the line doing a good job, and Hatch just follows them in. And East immediately starts pointing up. And all the boys up there, painting the chest, going crazy, screaming and freezing.
Oh boy, that's a tough way to get it through, but it works. 18 plays on that drive. Incredible, 75 yards. They use up 7:49 on the clock. That is an unbelievable drive, and they finish off with that 1 yard run.
And 2 clutch plays. Twice they convert on 4th down. 4th and 13, they threw and set up 1st and goal, and now here they are, 4th and goal at the 1. They'd been stuffed a couple of times, but they come back, go behind the left side of the line, and get the touchdown. 2 4th down conversions on that 18-play drive.
Yeah, and one of them, the 4th and 13 with a long pass, too. Really mixed it up with all those running backs in to come out with a clutch pass. The extra point just inside the left upright. Remember, these kids are used to kicking with wider uprights because in high school, they're the old width. In college, they're a little narrower, and it must be quite a shock to look up and look like you're kicking right down a tunnel when you get up to these college fields for these kids. And it's over the years, the narrower goalposts have really come into play in championship games. We've seen championship games lost because of missed kicks.
Well, Jeremy Pankey 2 for 2 on the point afters, and now he's set for the Granite kickoff. Fielded at the 21-yard line, and not much on the return for Josh Payne.
Reese, you mentioned all the close games over the years that have been cited by kicks. Was the Timpview game in '91 one of them against Skyline, that double overtime game?
It was. Brian Alba missed an extra point in regulation that would have won it for Skyline. Then he missed a field goal in the double overtime that cost Skyline the game. Brian, of course, a great kicker, went on to kick for the University of Utah, one of my former Boy Scouts. But yeah, that gave Timpview the 91 championship.
And Timpview trying to get yet another championship title, but they're trailing right now 14-0. We only have a minute 11 to go in this first half. Lane Gardner, he's in trouble, has to let it go. This could be picked off, and it is at the 45-yard line. An ill-advised pass is intercepted. Scott Hammer comes up with it. Well, and he just let that thing fly, and he was just about to get hit.
Well, you know, when you're about to get hit, you're looking for your favorite target. He's going towards Jerem Dastrup's favorite target. Now he's throwing to Ryan Mahoney.
And again, right there, he's just about to get nailed. And the ball badly underthrown. And Mahoney not able to get over there. So big break. And now East with an opportunity to score again. And Hatch has a receiver. Overthrows him. And John Hatch had just gotten hit. So East trying to add to their lead with under a minute to go here in the half. Big turnover. Jared Carson there was the intended target. Kind of reminds me of that pass play when we did the Utah State BYU game, and you remember that bomb just before the end of the half, and the big tight end couldn't get back, couldn't adjust in time, and Jared Carson came running back saying, oh, I would love to have caught that.
It's a little tougher, though. That was coming in right over the top of his helmet.
2nd down and 10, 54 seconds to go on the ground. It's Jared Carson, and he is stopped. It's about a yard. Clock is moving, and East High is going to take a timeout. They'd love to get in again here before they go to halftime.
Well, they've got some timeouts to work with. They've still got one more after this if they need it. Looking at 3rd and 10 with 44 seconds left, and it, you know, they converted 4th and 13 on their last drive. They're in 4-down territory again.
Well, last year, as we showed you on that chart, East goes 9-4, and they get all the way to the championship game. This year, they go 12-0. The next natural progression, of course, is to win the state championship game. They got the experience last year. It wasn't a fun experience, of course. But now they're in position to try to get their first state title in a lot of years. There's your common opponents.
East and Timpview have played 3 of the same teams. They've all won against all those teams, and even similar scores: 26-7 over West, 37 over West, 55-zip. They both shut out Tooele, and they both won very close games with Spanish Fork. So.
The game that impressed me, Timpview shut out Spanish Fork. Spanish Fork with a great quarterback in Quinn Hampton. Anybody can shut them down. They ought to be able to play pretty good defense, but trying to stop all these East High running backs has been a real challenge so far.
Yeah, the Spanish Fork game was 21-0 Timpview.
Hatch to the air again. Again, he's going to the end zone, and that, I don't know if that ball might have slipped out of his hands, Reese. I don't know if you can tell.
Like it just hung up there forever. The Timpview defenders trying to get back to it were slipping and sliding. Jason Kafusi, the intended receiver, couldn't get to it. We're just hanging there waiting for somebody to grab it, and when nobody did, it fell dead.
That was a wounded duck, and no one could spot a wounded duck like Reese Stein.
That duck's trying to land on this pond all day.
4th down and 10, and East now is going to take a timeout. And they have decided on the play. The coach is on the sideline. Matt Delaney is the coach that's carrying what appears to be the play chart, so he's the guy sending in the plays.
Well, it's weird seeing those clean white uniforms coming out there, isn't it?
Yeah, they're... Number 19 is Winston Smay.
He's the backup quarterback.
He's the backup quarterback in there, presumably the hold.
Yeah.
Which always gives you a great chance to run a fake. You always love to see a backup quarterback holding.
except the entire field is looking right at him because he's got that clean, bright
It's
uniform.
a little tougher to conceal.
Gee, Coach, you think they'll notice me?
Well, you got 9 guys up on the line, and these guys have all been in the game. They're just muddy. It just a holder and kicker. Perfect.
Jeremy Pankey, a 40-yarder. Oh, my goodness.
He bounced it through.
Wow. A little line drive shot, and it just got off the bottom of the crossbar there.
Well, the thing you got to know about East is they'd only made 1 field goal all year, a 32-yarder. And in the state championship, doink.
Look at that. You know, you said earlier things are going their way, and that just further illustrates it.
What's more, he was 0 for 2 kicking. It was another kicker who made the field goal. That's his first one of the year. He's been great on extra points, 43 of 49.
So East opens up now a 17-0 lead. Timpview, with this high-scoring passing offense, has yet to get into the end zone. They've been able to move the ball between the 20s.
Now, the East defense has been in a zone for a while. We've mentioned before they had 6 shutouts this year. They've had 4 in the last 5 weeks. And only 1 team has scored on them in a month.
Well,
and that was Spanish Fork in the 14-12 quarterfinal loss. Spanish Fork very close at the end of that game.
One of the coaches told us that a total of 63 points have been scored on East.
62.
62. Granite kickoff is a low one. Fielded at the 20-yard line. Josh Payne. And Payne with a nice return up to the 42, and they need that.
Well, that's important because now they get away from the goal line. They can take a chance, and an interception probably wouldn't hurt them because East is out of timeouts. We're down to 26 seconds. But this good return right here gives Timpview a chance to score. They're out at the 42. They've got 2 timeouts and 26 seconds left. You hit those low squib kicks, and you hope there won't be much of a return, but he heads straight up field, finds a little seam, gets through the crease out to the 42, and now Timpview, 26 seconds, 2 timeouts. They could run 4 plays here before the half.
Lane Gardner at quarterback, and you would expect that he's going to be thrown. Got 3 receivers to his right. Here comes the rush. And Gardner's going to keep it, get out of bounds. So only picks up a couple of yards, but uses 7 seconds off the clock, and there's only 19 left.
Great pressure out of a 4-man rush. He's only sending 4 guys. He had 5 guys up on the line of scrimmage, rushed 4 of them. Great pressure. I don't know. I mean, if you're a defensive back for East, you got to like that D-line. They're doing you some favors.
Bruce Kamani, John Newman, Amato Kutu, they're all strong kids across that line. Lane Gardner, 5'10", 178-pounder, senior, trying to get his team some points before they go to halftime. 19 seconds to play in the first half. Gardner looking down the left sideline. And a big collision at the 30. Jerome Dastrup, the intended target. I keep calling him Jerome. He's going to be mad at me for this. It's Jerem. My apologies.
He's only going to be mad at you, though. Reese and I get along with him quite well.
That was David James who referred to him as Jerome.
Here's a replay. Look at his throw. I mean, this is on the line. That is a long throw, not just long downfield, but he's throwing all across the wide side of the field. I mean, that is a long throw. Safety just getting there in time to break it up. It's a pretty good pop Dastrup's taken at the end of the play.
Grant Riddle's uniform's pretty clean.
That's because he's hitting other guys and falling on top of them. He's not falling in the mud.
Well, it appears that at this point, Chad Van Orden, the coach of Timpview Thunderbirds, has decided to just play it safe and run it out. And that's going to do it for the first half. Timpview heading into the locker room. They got some questions they need to answer, while East enjoys a 17-0 halftime lead here in the state 4A football championship.
Your palms sweat, your heart pounds, your pulse is racing. Is this how you feel when you're behind the wheel?
This is really annoying.
2 News put heart monitors on Wasatch Front commuters to see how stressed they get. Don't miss the drive time stress test Sunday on 2 News at 10. Utah High School Activities Association. The game of life begins here.
Thomas Travel is a proud supporter of Utah high schools. Serving Utah for over 46 years, Thomas Travel specializes in tours and cruises for the business and leisure traveler.
This home improvement tip brought to you by Economy Builder Supply.
I'm Larry.
And I'm Brad. You know, there are a lot of people who do their own painting. So today we're going to show you the proper way to prime and paint your new walls with Pratt & Lambert Suprime 4 and Accolade paint.
Well, what do we do first?
First, you need the proper tools.
A roller pan, paint roller, and a paintbrush. Let's start priming.
The first step is brush the inside corners and along the edge of the molding.
Then roll the primer in an even up and down direction.
Remember to overlap each roll pass, then let dry for about 2 hours.
Well, now we're ready to paint. What's next?
Well, Larry, we do the same process. Brush the inside corners.
And roll Pratt & Lambert Accolade paint in the same direction as before. Remember to overlap.
By the way, it's 100% acrylic, the most durable paint available.
And the cleanup is easy. Just use soap and water. I'm Larry.
And I'm Brad. Watch for our next home improvement tip.
This home improvement tip brought to you by Pratt & Lambert Paints and Economy Builder Supply. We cut prices, not quality.
Here's your academic all-state team, Class 4A, with an average GPA of 3.97. Austin Finley of Box Elder, Zach Champlin of Mountain Crest, Peter Johnson of East, Andrew Heyer of Logan, Bruce Christensen of Skyview, Tyler Salveson of Bear River, Kenneth Beeman of Woods Cross, Brad Dixon of Logan, Michael Harrington of Murray, and Kirk Chambers of Provo. Your academic all-state team with an average GPA of 3.97. Congratulations, guys. And we'll be back right after this.
Now that cold weather set in, come into Intermountain Farmers for warmer work clothing. Because if your job keeps you outside during the winter months, you know how cold it can get. Dressing properly can be critical. So whether your outdoor activities are for work or for fun, come see our stylish new jackets and workable insulated coveralls. Designed to be convenient and easy to put on as well as comfortable to work in. IFA has the cold weather apparel you need at a price you can afford.
We're still serving your needs at home and on the farm. We're IFA.
Imagine something new to get excited about. The 1997 Mercury Mountaineer. Easy to get used to in more ways than one. Wherever you look, you're going to love the Mountaineer. The sport utility you can step right into. It's got loads of safety features, and with all-wheel drive, this hassle-free system is engaged whenever you drive. Maybe it is time to imagine yourself in a Mercury.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
Hungry children in Utah need your help
This season, team up with us
to help feed Utah families.
in the true spirit of giving.
Bring your canned goods to Channel 2, Granite Furniture, or the Utah Food Bank. Volunteers will take your donations where they're needed most.
When we all give a little,
We'll make a big difference. Together,
we'll be bagging hunger for the holidays.
Sponsored by Granite Furniture, Utah's favorite home team since 1910.
hey, deliver these, will ya?
The mystery of the blinking rings. And now, my finest illusion. Voila! Empty! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, no, please don't get up. You're too kind. Thank you.
Just yours.
It's not necessary for you to...
Got milk?
Ow!
Halftime here, and take a look at this. The sun has come out in Ogden briefly, where the 4A football championship game East enjoys a 17-0 halftime lead. The sun desperately trying to come out. Taking a look at the stats here, total yard, of course it's going to favor East, but the rushing yards, there's 107 yards rushing for East, and what's amazing is 4 different ball carriers are in double figures rushing.
They've spread it out well, and of course Havili, one of them, 25 yards rushing, left the game with the knee injury. Taking a look at the rest of the team stats, East with more first downs. The turnovers, only 1 despite the muddy field and the bad weather. Timpview had an interception that did lead to 3 points, but surprisingly well-played game, not too many penalties, only 3 penalties so far.
Well, we'll be back and see what Timpview discussed in the locker room in terms of trying to get back into this game, and we'll find out what the East plans are as they are going for their 7th shutout of the season. 17-0 is our halftime score. Second half is coming up.
No dogs, no stoplights, no rain. Just getting fit, staying fit, losing the fat. Yeah, you can get fit with this. Into running, walking, you will reach your goal. You cannot stop. This is why. Keeps you moving. Call it motivation. Want it higher, harder, steeper? You will get there. You won't pound your knees, your ankles, your joints. This tells you where you are, how far you'll go, and what you'll attain. So when you get there, it gets out of your way. Space Saver Thin Line from Proform. Hey, this isn't much. This is smart.
The new Proform Space Saver treadmill, more compact than ever. Call for a 30-day in-home trial.
For me, life is an adventure. Something new around every corner, but not for my dad. He says he knows what to expect just about every day of the year. Heartburn.
If you suffer from frequent, severe heartburn, you may be qualified to participate in a research study of a heartburn medication. You may qualify if you are over 18 and experience almost daily severe heartburn. Qualified volunteers may be paid. 1-800-HEARTBURN.
More movies. More music.
Media play.
More books. More
Media play.
More
Media play.
More software. Less price every day. Media Play.
Media play.
More choice, less price.
Second half is set to get underway. East leading 17-0. And Jeremy Pankey will kick off. And I suspect some of those East High football players can smell a championship. But they got to play another 24 minutes. Granite kickoff is away. Fielded at the 12-yard line by Ethan Ross. And Ross makes a nice cutback and a good tackle because Ross had a lot of room before Todd Nelson managed to reach in there and knock him down.
Starts up the near sideline. There's nothing there. This is a very long return, but he only gets out to the 28-yard line because mostly he's running sideline to sideline. But you're right. The last guy trips him up.
Yep.
He's around that corner. He knows it, too. He's mad. He was so close to going.
Well, Timpview needs to get something going offensively as they've been able to move the ball somewhat, but have not been able to get near the end zone. Lane Gardner at quarterback. He's gone all the way. Was injured last week, and Covey came in to mop up and help get him into this game. And Gardner will go right to the air. Pass is intercepted. Another turnover. And once again, it is number 8, Sitani Fulau, that comes up with the big pick. And that one is costly because look where it puts East High School.
Great field position, and their offensive line really hasn't needed great field position. Timpview's doing some more of the rollout stuff, trying to get away from the pass rush. But that is a crucial turnover. They've only had one the entire first half.
Second first down and 10 then as they come up with the interception and have the ball, and they're going to the air, and it is caught, and East is going to score. Touchdown, Leopards. Thomas Skidmore.
Well, you get the turnover and you want to strike right back for the big play, answer back with a score, and East does it. They get the interception, they throw the ball, turn around, throw it right back down the field. Great catch. And Now it is 23-zip East, and this is going from championship game to blowout in a hurry. East is looking good. A great start to the third quarter for the Leopards.
Point after is good. 24-zip is our score, and Timpview comes out with a costly mistake on the first play of the second half, and they'll try again when we come back.
Hungry children in Utah need your help
This season, team up with us
to help feed Utah families.
in the true spirit of giving.
Bring your canned goods to Channel 2, Granite Furniture, or the Utah Food Bank. Volunteers will take your donations where they're needed most.
When we all give a little,
We'll make a big difference. Together,
we'll be bagging hunger for the holidays.
Sponsored by Granite Furniture, Utah's favorite home team since 1910.
hey, deliver these, will you?
Just the faucet department here, isn't it wonderful? It's a sea of sinks. It's a fantasy of faucets, isn't it?
There are a lot of things to choose from. We just come here because it's all here. The practical stuff, the unpractical stuff, the fun stuff, the fluff stuff. There are a lot of things to choose from.
It's almost like being in a jewelry store, isn't it?
If you really like faucets, it's the place to be, I think.
Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything. Discover the distinctive designs and lasting quality of Moen lever handle faucets. Elegant styling and rich finishes. Moen makes a statement in excellence at Eagle.
Lincoln Continental, a V8 luxury sedan that has all the right stuff. Lincoln Mark 8, a 280 horsepower luxury coupe that takes no prisoners. And Lincoln Town Car, a luxury legend that is recognized as an American classic. Every one of these Lincolns can now be reached at the following number. Exclusively at your Lincoln dealer.
(24-zip) East High. They were in the state championship game last year. It was a miserable experience. They said this year they want to come back and they want to win it. And they have played great football so far. Little reverse there, a little trickery on the kick return on the Granite kickoff. But it is read well, and Timpview will start once again. This time they'll be at the 25-yard line. That was James Dodson who came around with the ball. So 1st and 10, but boy, you've got to be somewhat dejected on that Thunderbird sideline.
Yeah, the early turnover and then the quick touchdown for East really putting Timpview in a huge hole. Probably complicated because of their offense playing in bad weather, although they were in terrible weather up in Logan last week in the semifinals. Put 30 points on the board with their backup quarterback in and won the game. So it isn't just the weather day. A lot of this is the East defense trying to put together another shutout.
Quick pass. Oh, this could be disastrous unless Dastrup can make something happen. And Jerem Dastrup manages to get a yard or two, which is amazing because there were a lot of, I was going to say white shirts, but I should say muddy white shirts way back at the 20. That could have been awful.
Well, it looked like they might have been trying to set up a double pass because that was a lateral to him. You watch as we're on the line of scrimmage here. You can see they were throwing it backwards, so he could have thrown a second pass, but he had problems catching it and tucking it away, and then he was just running for his life, just looking for anywhere to turn it back upfield.
So he managed to get a yard out of that. It's 2nd down and 9. Gardner. And that pass, I don't know if that slipped out of his hands, but it was going nowhere.
It may have been tipped at the line, too.
So things not going well at all for Timpview right now. Did we manage to get Reese Stein bundled back up, ready to go here in the second half? I see him over there. Reese, looks like it's getting a little colder down there, if that can happen.
Well, as the sun begins to set and the breeze kicks up, it's a little cool.
3rd down and 9.
That's a little cooler up top there for the cameraman. They've got a few tarps trying to protect them, but it is not enough. I was on the roof at halftime. It's brutal up there.
Well, that must have been enjoyable. Gardner going deep, and this will go over everyone. Bringing up a 4th down and 9.
You get an idea how strong his arm is. He threw that ball a little more than 50 yards in the air, and that thing soaking wet.
So Ethan Ross steps onto the football field, and Timpview, they're going to have to punt the ball away. Another high snap, but he fields that one. That one might have been hit. And there's a penalty flag down at the 15-yard line. We'll see what sort of perhaps running into the kicker we could have here as the fans on hand to cheer on their team. East High enjoying a 24-0 lead, and they've had those 6 shutouts this year, and they're working on another one now.
Well, that means that kick wasn't blocked, because once you get a piece of the ball, then you can obliterate the kicker. You can go after him. But that's just been a low kick.
Obliterate the kicker.
Well, you know, I did a little punting, Dave, and let me tell you about what they do to punters.
You were one of those punters?
Yeah,
you mean the kind of guys that people always say they're so strange and all that?
Yeah, well.
Really? Were you in your own little world?
I mean, come on, look at me.
I didn't know this. This is incredible. It's a first down, though. It's paid off for Timpview.
Well, everyone confuses place kickers and punters. Punters get hit. Place kickers are a little different. Punters, a lot of punters know this. When they practice the punt block, they often take out the personal protector and go 11 on 10, and you just it's pretty terrible things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you know what a quarterback. Well, you know what a quarterback feels like, because you stand there, you have to do your job, and you are just going to take a pop. You know, and guys are not worried about a roughing the kicker penalty in practice. They're just running you over. Hey, it's a free kick at the punter. Let's take a shot at him.
Amazing.
That keeps the Timpview drive alive, and now 24-0. They need any break they can get.
Tom Fafita as they're on the ground. Of course, later on this morning up at Rice Stadium, the big battle between BYU and Utah will get underway at 10:30. And guess who just ambled into the booth? The longtime color commentator for Blue and White Network BYU football, Blaine Fowler. First of all, what are you doing up here?
Well, you know, it got a little bit cold. I just stopped by. I live up in Kaysville, and I stopped by to check out the game. It got too cold, and I said, I heard that Dave and Dave are up in the booth. I'm going someplace where it's warmer and catch the game from up here in the booth.
You know, it's funny, there's a whole line of people outside trying to get in here with you. 2nd down and 8, nothing doing for Fafita going on the left side there, and that East defense steps up to shut it down. Hey, the big game today, we had you on a radio show earlier in the week, but do you still feel the same way as you did then?
Yeah, I think that BYU is going to prove to be just a little bit too physical for the university this year. Of course, anything in, you know, I keep saying anything can happen in an in-state game, and I think that the wet field makes for an exciting game. Turnovers are going to be a big factor tomorrow, and whoever can hold on to the ball may come out on top.
You know, we thought turnovers might be a big factor here. They haven't been huge. Has there only been 1 in each?
Well, there's been 2 turnovers in this game now, and the 5A game, which we'll see later today, although it was played before the 4A game, the 5A, which will be on our air at 5 o'clock this afternoon, well, we'll give it away. There was 1 turnover.
I was going to say, this could get very confusing.
I predict there'll be 1 turnover in the 5A game, Dave, but that's just me.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb, and, well, I'm not even going to predict a winner.
Okay.
Gardner's sacked right there. It's 4th and 15, and your Eagle Hardware and Garden power play, and here comes that East defense. Oh, and he ran into one of his own linemen.
It's been that kind of afternoon.
That means they're going to have to kick the ball away again. Ethan Ross. And this punt. Down there, they're saying, don't touch the ball, don't touch the ball. Just let it die right there at the 33-yard line is where it will be, as East will come back, already leading 24-0. And let's take a break right here, and we'll be right back. East enjoying a huge lead.
Hey, cookies. Say, you know, I think our neighbor might like one, too. Yeah? Well?
Here you go.
Thank you. Terrific. Excellent.
Got milk?
No dogs, no stoplights, no rain. Just getting fit, staying fit, losing the fat. Yeah, you can get fit with this. Into running, walking, you will reach your goal. You cannot stop. This is why. Keeps you moving. Call it motivation. Want it higher, harder, steeper? You will get there. You won't pound your knees, your ankles, your joints. This tells you where you are, how far you'll go, and what you'll attain. So when you get there, it gets out of your way. Space Saver Thin Line from Proform. Hey, this isn't much. This is smart.
The new Proform Space Saver treadmill, more compact than ever. Call for a 30-day in-home trial.
Back here at Wildcat Stadium, East High 24, Timpview 0. And you know the Leopards are going to be doing a lot of this. Just keep it on the ground and grind it out. Jared Carson with the touchdown. Due to time constraints, we move ahead now in our coverage of the 4A football championship.
You know, this is the first time in 15 years that I either haven't been on the sideline as part of the team or broadcast that football game. I won't know what to do tomorrow. I'm just going to be sitting there watching the game with everyone else. It'll be strange.
Hang out in the press box. There's good food up there. They're back onto the ground game. And East High, nice stiff arm as they go around the right side. And Jared Carson all the way down to the 2-yard line. And East looking for more.
You know, we've talked about the bad footing in the middle of the field, but once again, you get outside by the numbers where there hasn't been as much action out there today. He was able to make a few cuts. Watch him get outside and cut back on a few of the defenders. His inside handoff has worked well for them throughout the game. Scored a touchdown on it earlier today. Nice stiff arm right there, and then cut back inside the defender right there. A little better footing out there. In the middle of the field, guys are just lowering their shoulder and going straight ahead, but Carson with a nice run there.
John Hatch and East High with the ball at the 2-yard line, trying to punch in, and they get another one. Touchdown, Jared Carson.
This is turning into a rough afternoon for Timpview, and East knows exactly how they feel. You probably talked to Matt Bellini last year after they had the disappointing afternoon in the title game.
Yeah, and they would look forward all year to getting back to the chance to be able to do it. You know, East all day long has been able to run the football effectively against Timpview's defense. That's what East has done well all year. And you'd have to think that when the Timpview coaches woke up this morning and looked at the weather, it was to their disadvantage to have a wet, soggy field when East really is a more physical football team and able to run the ball so well. And Timpview really relies on the pass more. This weather probably has hurt Timpview.
Jeremy Pankey's extra point is good. How about 31-zip? East High in a big way. They're trying to get another shutout and trying to get a state championship title. Due to time constraints, we move ahead now in our coverage of the Timpview East 4A football championship. First down and 15 after that flag moves him back 5 yards. And Gardner being chased, and Gardner is going down all the way back to the 45-yard line.
This is an amazing pass rush East is putting on. Almost exclusively 4-man rushes. They're not having a blitz. They're getting a great push out of the 4-man rush. Watch Gardner drop back, and he starts to set up. They're right in his face. He can't. He just keeps fading back and eventually goes down. Nicewanger getting in there. He has had a huge game today. He has played very well.
He's had a huge season. I'll tell you, East High known for their sacks. In the quarterfinals against Spanish Fork, they had 8 sacks in that game against one of the best passing offenses in the state. They've been doing that all year. Just a powerful pass rush for East.
Sideline reports brought to you by the Dairy Farmers of Utah. Reese Stein is braving the elements on the sideline. Second down and 30. Lane Gardner going deep, and again, boy, he's got an arm.
He does.
He overthrows Dastrup once again.
And you got to remember, he's not just throwing downfield, he's throwing across the field. And it's like Blaine pointed out, that ball is bloated. It's like shot putting the thing down the field.
It really is. East has been running a lot of 2 deep coverages in this game. They put 2 safeties deep, and then they either play man-to-man underneath. You see it right there. There's a safety on top, and the guy that's running man-to-man underneath. Been very difficult for Timpview to run against that or to throw the football against it. And when you can get pressure on the quarterback with 4 down linemen, you can afford to play that kind of defense, and Timpview doesn't have anybody open at all.
Gardner has completed 11 of 24, 116 yards, a couple of interceptions. And he's got a 3rd down and 30. They need to get all the way down to the 25-yard line. Long way to go. And they'll get, well, maybe half of it right there. Dastrup on the reception, but it'll bring up a 4th and 15, and you would expect he's certainly going to go for it.
Stokes Aiken just took a face full of mud on that one.
He's still trying to dig it out.
That was a nice catch. That ball thrown a little high. You know, the thing about this game is, and you can look back at a couple key plays early when East really started to get out of hand. And as we get ready for 4th and 15, remember that first half, that 18-play touchdown drive?
Right.
They converted 2 4th downs, score on 4th and goal at the 1, and they converted a 4th and 13 in that drive.
15 right here. Gardner. And he had to get rid of that ball because he was about to be sacked. And Timpview will turn it over on downs once again.
That's a name we haven't mentioned enough today, Jason Barlow, who comes in from the opposite side from Kaufusi. Boy, when you've got a defensive lineman of the caliber of Barlow and Kaufusi and Aiken, it's just not fair. They're just dominating.
Minute 43 to go here then in the third quarter, and East's going to take the ball back. Blaine, nice of you to pop by. We keep you here the whole game, but you'd want us to pay you. But before you go, I got to get your prediction this afternoon. In 3.5, 4 hours from now, who's the big winner and what's the final score?
Well, if you're going to put me on the line here, I'm going to say it's going to be higher scoring than people think. I would think that BYU is going to win that game 35-21.
35-21. There you go. No 34?
Nah, 35. 34 is a bad memory for BYU fans.
Okay. It wouldn't be if they won 34 to something this year. They could live with it, you know. I mean, get to the WAC title game with only one loss and see what happens with the bowl possibilities.
Yeah, it'll be a very exciting game tomorrow. I'm excited to go and just watch it and have a chance to just sit there and yell at the refs with everybody else. So, hey, thanks for letting me come up and visit with you guys. I got to warm up here, and I appreciate it.
All right. Let me make you feel a little more at home right here. Thanks for being with us, Blaine.
Oh, yes, you had to go there, didn't you?
Okay.
Let the record show Blaine was a good soldier right there.
See you later.
Oh, man.
Minute 35 here, and penalties. Late hit. And that's going to move the ball up to the 42-yard line. And East High School just enjoying. What a perfect ending to what has been an unbelievable storybook season for this team, really. Just been awesome.
We talked about it earlier, the 4-year turnaround in this program. You know, 3 years ago, this team did not win a game. Then they got one win. Last year, they broke through with 9 wins and a trip to the title game. And this year, trying to put together the perfect season and maybe put together a little more than a quarter to go. So you don't want to say they're going to do it yet, but trying to work on that 7th shutout.
It's almost as quick as the Dallas Cowboys under Jimmy Johnson. 1-15 his first season. Got a few more wins. Got a 7-win season. Next thing you know, they're piling up Super Bowls.
They're in the playoffs the 3rd year, and the 4th year they win it all. Very similar. Look at him, Timpview going for that ball, trying to tear that thing loose, get something going. I mean, if you may go down to defeat, but you like to at least get some points up on the scoreboard, make a big play.
Aiken goes around the left side. Brian Pond is there, one of the big linemen. You mentioned Blaine, or Blaine mentioned him, is one of those tough linemen that got a lot of size for Timpview. You know, he was talking about Timpview running that tight end play right out of BYU's playbook. I would suspect Timpview has a lot of plays that come out of BYU's playbook.
You know, if you're coaching in Utah County and you got some kids who, you got the talent to throw the ball, which not every school does, but Timpview does, well, yeah, you might look down the road and try to pick up a thing or two.
Well, and you have an understanding with the BYU head coach that you get the guys ready.
Yeah, there you go.
And when your 3rd-string quarterback is named Chow, that doesn't hurt either.
You know, I was going to bring that up, Reese. I'm glad you mentioned that. Chow is on this team, and that, of course...
It is Norm's son, too.
Well, and we mentioned earlier, they won last week because their backup quarterback came in and played very well in the semifinals when Gardner got hurt, and he's related
to Sean Covey.
Sean Covey, who played for BYU, yes.
And was a next-door neighbor of Lavelle Edwards.
Suddenly it becomes very clear, doesn't it?
Well, on the turnover, 1st and 10, so a little bit of a break for Timpview. They really need to get moving. This will be the last play here of the 3rd quarter. And Tom Fafita fights for whatever he can, and that brings the 3rd period to a close. East trying to win the 4A state championship and holding on to a 31-0 lead.
High School Activities Association. The game of life begins here.
Thomas Travel is a proud supporter of Utah high schools. Serving Utah for over 46 years, Thomas Travel specializes in tours and cruises for the business and leisure traveler.
Your palms sweat, your heart pounds, your pulse is racing. Is this how you feel when you're behind the wheel?
This is really annoying.
2 News put heart monitors on Wasatch Front commuters to see how stressed they get. Don't miss the drive time stress test, Sunday on 2 News at 10. Ron Bird, Mary Nichols, Sterling Polson. The team to watch on 2 News at noon, weekdays.
We move into the fourth quarter. East High School 31-0 over Timpview right now. Lane Gardner's pass is behind his target. Shumway, the intended target there, but well, they are struggling on the Timpview side of the football. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and 8. Reese Stein has been hanging out on the east sideline where there's been some celebrating going on, and
cautious celebrating. They're not letting anything get out of hand yet.
I noticed they're warming up another quarterback there, Reese. We'll come back to you here in a minute and get your interview there with one of the players. Gardner on 3rd down. Pass is a little low. They will not give it to Ethan Ross. Full hour on coverage. And that many clean jerseys trot onto the football field that you suspect a punt is coming.
I think we're going to start seeing a lot of clean jerseys. Yep. A chance to get a lot of guys into a championship game. And one of the things you got to take away, especially when a game is starting to get out of hand like this, one of the things you got to take away is, the chance to get a lot of the sophomores and juniors who are on the sidelines who haven't played a lot, get them that championship experience. It can only help you down the line. Both these teams, they're establishing strong programs. They got a chance to be back here and a chance to go deep into the playoffs in future years.
Well, and Timpview won their title, 1991, and they haven't been back to the championship game in several years. And maybe this is, East last year they get into the championship game, and then the next year they come in and dominate. Timpview hoping to do the same thing perhaps next season.
I think there are a couple things you can accomplish. One, you might not get back to the championship game. You give everyone a chance to play in it, and that's good. But also, when you have one of these playoff runs, you're picking up extra practices, extra experience for the guys. And in the programs that are dominant year after year, your Skylines and your Orms, teams that are in the 5A finals, I really think that carries over and pays off. Guys get more practices, they get more repetitions, they get more experience. It's like an extra 4 weeks of practice that the other schools don't necessarily get.
Well, John Hatch has apparently done his job, and here comes Jared Carson. And Carson all the way down to midfield and beyond. Josh Payne trips him there, but number 19 has come into the game for East High School. Winston Smay, the backup quarterback. So John Hatch has done his job, and now he will yield to one of the other guys, as you pointed out. He doesn't often get to play. Of course, you'd think in the season they've had a lot of guys who've gotten to play.
Yeah, they have.
Hey, Dave, I've got a guy here on the East High sidelines that wish he were playing today. Peter Johnson, East High School senior, starting running back last year on the team that went to the state championship. In the 3rd game of the year, he got hurt, and they found something when they were treating your injury. What did they find?
They just found a spinal defect that made me more susceptible to like a paralysis type injury. So I guess they
ended your football career.
Yeah.
So you're working on the sidelines now. You've really been an inspiration to this team. What have you been doing to move East along?
I don't think I've been that much of an inspiration. I just try and, pat my teammates, just keep them up, keep them going, keep them focused. I guess that's my new role.
Well, I'll tell you what, to lose a guy the quality of Peter Johnson, then to come back with the stable of running backs, this East High program just been sensational this year, and everybody tells me that one reason has just been your inspiration. Everybody really wants to do it for you. Number 35 in the program and number 1 in the hearts of this team.
Well, thanks. I'm really proud of the team. They've worked hard and they've got it done. It's really cool. I wish I was out there, but at the same time, it's still cool just to be a part of this. It's a really neat thing.
Well, you guys took it to the state championship game a year ago. You lose in the championship game. What kind of resolve did you make for this season?
Oh, we were working pretty hard in the off season. I right before the season started, I watched the video of our game against Box Elder, and it got me pretty fired up. And I think our team, we watched it a couple times, and so our coach always told us, we were really young last year, and he said we have a second chance, and that meant a lot to us, because not a lot of people get them, so we figured we'd better make do with it.
Are you a little surprised it's been as apparently easy as it's been today?
I wouldn't call it easy, but I mean, I'm surprised at the score, but Timpview's a good team and they're playing hard. Things are just bouncing our way.
Peter Johnson, a star running back as a junior last year, but on the sideline with an injury or a defect in his spine, which pretty much ended his football career. But he did get his chance to shine at halftime, an academic All-Stater. Congratulations on that as East rolls down the field in the fourth quarter.
All right, Reese, good report down there. James Aitken all the way down to the 17-yard line. Our sideline reports brought to you by your Utah dairy farmers. And a good story there, Peter Johnson, along with Reese Stein. So East just continues to rumble on.
He said everything was bouncing their way today, and we have seen a little bit of that, including that field goal. I mean, that was a big bounce. As it turns out, 3 points that won't be that crucial in the game, but it was just one of the little signals that not only is East really good, but they were going to have some luck today as well.
That's funny. That's 2 field goals, big field goals that have bounced off the crossbar in this stadium this season.
Good point. Weber State won their home opener here against Eastern Washington, bouncing a field goal through.
Big defensive play there. How about that number 57, huh? As James Aitken trots off the field.
It is the toughest name in the entire team, Dave, and I want to hear you say it one time. TJ deserves it because he's made some big plays for Timpview today.
Muamo Oliva.
Muamaleva. I believe it's Muamaleva.
Muamaleva. Here goes East again. Another touchdown for the Leopards and another TD for Jared Carson.
Well, you just heard it in Reese's sideline interview. Even East, a little stunned at the score. They can do no wrong today. And sometimes games take on a personality of their own. And at this point, everything East does works well. And that line, the line has been great all day long, and they are again. Big hole, a couple attempts on an arm tackle, that's it, but nobody really getting hit. It's great to be a running back when you got that line in front of you. Carson puts up some pretty good numbers today. 10 carries, 96 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
And Jeremy Pankey with Winston Smay holding. And that one's not going to go, but hey, they've got 37 other points. And East High leads at 37-0. We'll be back.
The mystery of the blinking rings. And now, my finest illusion. Voila! Empty! Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, no, please don't get up. You're too kind. Thank you. It's not necessary for you to...
Got milk?
Ow!
Now that cold weather set in, come into Intermountain Farmers for warmer work clothing. Because if your job keeps you outside during the winter months, you know how cold it can get. Dressing properly can be critical. So whether your outdoor activities are for work or for fun, come see our stylish new jackets and workable insulated coveralls. Designed to be convenient and easy to put on as well as comfortable to work in. IFA has the cold weather apparel you need at a price you can afford.
We're still serving your needs at home and on the farm. We're IFA.
Dear Dave, after session last week, we had your smoky bacon cheeseburgers. One bite and we said, man, whoever made this has paid his dues. 3 strips of hickory smoked bacon, smoked cheddar with that sauce, all on a quarter pound of fresh beef with sauteed onions. Dave, it was so delicious, Lucille and I played a whole set of Lowdown Blues. Your pal, B.B. King.
Dear B.B., keep smiling. You'll beat those blues yet.
Try Wendy's Smoky Bacon Cheeseburger Combo.
4A football championship will be decided shortly, but it's looking like it's all East right now. The Granite kickoff. Jeremy Pankey is away. 20-yard line. Look at all the East jerseys that converge. And Adam Ashworth gets up to the 22, where Timpview once again will come out, try to get something going. East working on another shutout. It would be their 7th. Due to time constraints, we move ahead now in our coverage of the 4A football championship.
Rich, Snow Canyon, and East all completing perfect seasons.
And Morgan had a shot at it and lost by a touchdown to Grantsville in the championship game in Class 2A.
I was at that 2A championship game. 7-zip. Grantsville got the game's only touchdown, and then a great goal line stand in the final minute to preserve the title. You know, you got to be good and lucky to do it. They had their starting quarterback break a leg in a semifinal.
Wow. You saw those fans. Hard to believe that their team is trailing 37-0. Blaine Gardner on the run. And that ball's going nowhere. You know, that ball is it's just got to be a rock right now. Just heavy and wet. This is one of those games, if you're Timpview anyway, you just want to kind of get it over with.
You know, if you want to be on TV, you really need to hold still.
There you go.
There.
Third down and 24 now after all of the penalties, which have made a mess out of this drive. And Gardner's pass downfield. This time he connects with Dastrup, but it's going to be about 10 yards shy of the first, so that'll bring up a 4th. Skidmore on the coverage.
Take one more look at it. Timpview, you know, with all this throwing, they are extending the game. This game is going a little longer, but hey, they know they've got the potent passing attack. They get the ball out to midfield, and they know they want to get down and at least get some points on the board and break up the shutout.
Yeah, no question they want to score.
Usually you might see a team this late in the game just kind of fold it up and go home, but Timpview keeps pushing. They know they can break a big play or two here and get on the board.
4th and 10. And that pass didn't have much of a chance with the double coverage all over Ethan Ross. And that's going to take care of that. So we'll take a break as East comes back with 3:51 to go, looking to mop up on the 4A football championship.
The faucet department here isn't it wonderful? It's a sea of sinks. It's a fantasy of faucets, isn't it?
There are a lot of things to choose from. We just come here because it's all here. The practical stuff, the unpractical stuff, the fun stuff, the fluff stuff. There are a lot of things to choose from.
It's almost like being in a jewelry store, isn't it?
If you really like faucets, it's the place to be, I think.
Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything. Discover the distinctive designs and lasting quality of Moen lever handle faucets. Elegant styling and rich finishes. Moen makes a statement in excellence.
Hungry children in Utah need your help.
This season, team up with us.
To help feed Utah families.
In a true spirit of giving.
Bring your canned goods to Channel 2, Granite Furniture, or the Utah Food Bank. Volunteers will take your donations where they're needed most.
When we all give a little,
we'll make a big difference. Together,
we'll be bagging hunger for the holidays.
Sponsored by Granite Furniture, Utah's favorite home team since 1910.
Hey, deliver these, will ya?
Grab the keys to a Mercury Sable and you won't let go. It's the roomiest Sable model ever, so there's a place for 5 or 6. Make space for whatever you like with the split fold rear seat. And if you want even more room, choose a Mercury Sable wagon for the same low price. Mercury Sable at your Mercury dealer now.
Imagine yourself in a Mercury now.
This high school football championship game is brought to you by Eagle Hardware, Granite Furniture, Icon Health and Fitness, and the Dairy Farmers of Utah.
.351 to go. East High School hanging on and looking for more right here. Due to time constraints, we move ahead now in our coverage of the Timpview East 4A football championship. Let's do our Icons icon players of the game right now, and we've talked about it up here, and I think we're just going to hand it to the entire East defense. It's been a great season, and what a way to cap it off. A 37-0 shutout going right now.
They've only given up 12 points in the playoffs so far. Amazing.
That's incredible.
And all in one game. This would be their third playoff shutout.
Gardner hit as he released that ball, and just beyond the fingertips of Dastrup.
They have no
chance.
Hey,
Security.
Dave.
One word comes
Dave.
to mind. Run.
Dave.
Yeah.
I got Marianne Hatch, the quarterback's mother, right here. Marianne, how'd John play today?
Just excellent. I think he played probably the best game he's ever had.
How about that East defense? They gave him a lot of help.
I know. They are the best. They are.
What's it going to mean to the Hatch family, a state championship?
We're going to be thrilled. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful experience. And we've got another son coming up, so he's paved the way, and East has done great this year.
Another quarterback?
Yeah, I hope.
Oh, well, you were worried, Dave, what East was going to do in the future. They're just going to keep coming. We got another Hatch coming up. So, well, congratulations, Marianne. This Friday.
All right, Reese, take cover, because here they come. The East High Leopards are your 1996 state 4A football champs. East High School has broken a 22-year championship drought. Today, up in Ogden, the Leopards shut out the Thunderbirds of Timpview to become the 4A football champions. Final score, East 37, Timpview 0. The entire KUTV sports crew, we appreciate you joining us for high school football action. East, your 4A champions.
Excuse me. I had to stop a volcano from destroying Hawaii. Any calls while I was gone?
Baby Ruth from Nestle. This baby gets you going.
Welcome back to Venice Beach and the Hoop It Up Court of Dreams.
My name is Joyce Walker. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And the best part of my game is that I'm a penetrator. And I can shoot the two. I'm real fortunate to be playing with some real wonderful women that just love the game. But the most important thing about us is that we really like each other. And I think that made a difference in us, you know, being successful.
Team Seattle down, but there's Joyce Walker with that outside shot she spoke about.
Excellent screen down by Eric.